I'm Inspector Kevin Williams, Commanding Officer with the 2nd Precinct. Thank you all for coming out to the community meeting tonight. We have a special presentation by the Financial Crimes Unit. Most of you know I'm very passionate about this. I talk about scams and identity theft at a lot of meetings. I get very upset when I see innocent people getting taken advantage of, so I've been trying to get the financial crimes guys down here to do their presentation to educate you a little bit on what goes on out there. So I'm happy to have Detective Speciale, Detective Monaco here. They're going to take it from here. They'll do their presentation. We'll take a quick break, and then I'll do the regular precinct PowerPoint. Okay, so guys, take it away.
So I'm Detective Monaco. I work in financial crimes. I've been there since last June. Tom and I came to team together. Prior to being in law enforcement, I worked at JP Morgan, then I worked at Guggenheim Partners, and then I decided I want to become a cop, so I take the police exam, and I end up becoming a Suffolk County police officer. And then throughout, my background expedited my career to become a detective in financial crimes.
I'm Detective Thomas Speciale. I got about 28 years in law enforcement. Started my career with the New York City Police Department. Came out to Suffolk in 2010. Like Tom said, came to financial crimes a year ago with him, and I've been a detective for about 5 years.
All right, so we're going to talk about some things tonight, just to give you guys some tips, right? We always tell the people that we're giving presentations to, it's really, we need you guys to spread it, because more than likely you guys aren't going to be the ones that get scammed. It's going to be your family members that aren't here tonight because they didn't get the few tips that we give. The tips that we're going to give are going to be pretty obvious, right? You're going to think it's pretty obvious until you're in the mode, right? Until you're on the phone with a scammer and they're putting the fear of death in you. So listen to things that we say and spread the word. That's the only way that we stop these things, because these scammers, they're calling 100 people a day and maybe getting one, and that's a win for them. So the first thing we'll talk about is identity theft. So the most important piece of information here that they're looking for, the scammers or the bad guys, is a social security number, right? So we always say, shred your documents, watch where you're putting your social security number, don't carry it. When you're going to the store, keep it in a safe somewhere, and just don't have it on you. A lot of people, like back in the day, used to carry a social security number on them, and it was just a document like your license. Now if you lose your wallet, you have your social security number on you, your card on you, and your license. The bad guys have the key to the kingdom. Just some quick tips. So this is a form of identity theft, right? So this is a crime that's going on that the chiefs are all over. It's whitewash checks, right? So basically, you guys send out a check, right, to town of Huntington for your taxes, right? And you put it in your mailbox, you put the flag up, and now some bad guy comes, he takes the check, and he goes and cashes in his bank account. So what he's doing is he's just taking a solution. Now, you wrote town of Huntington on there, and you're paying your taxes for the year, and it's $20,000, right? And he's putting it in his bank account, so he's writing his name on it. Now a year goes by, right, and you saw the $20,000 come out of your bank account, right? And you just assume that check went to town of Huntington. Well, the banks are only refunding the last 60 days, right? So now, a year from now, when the town reaches out to you and says, well, you didn't pay your taxes last year, you're due. You reach out to the bank and you're like, I want a copy of that check. Where'd that check go? And you find out that it's in a bad guy's name, right? And the bank's not willing to refund you. You're out $20,000. You call us, and you want us to get you the money back. We can't. So the most important thing we tell you guys is, if you're going to mail out a check, you have to monitor your bank accounts, right? Get a copy of a check. I'm not saying every check. We get at presentations, a lot of times they'll say, well, I can't get a copy of every check. I send out a bunch of checks. Well, get the ones that are high value, right, and are going to wipe you out, right? If you're going to send out a $20,000 check, make sure you get a copy of the front and the back of that check. Counterfeit checks, right? So now you put a check in the mail, right, and a bad guy steals that check, he doesn't even have to use that check, right? All he needs on that check is the routing number and the account number. With those, that's all the bank cares about. Those two numbers, and then the amount on the check. So he could write anything he wants on there and deposit that check. So you have to monitor your checks, right? Anything that you write. So we always tell everyone 60 days, right? That's what the bank's willing to refund if you're a victim of fraud and you weren't involved. So make sure you guys are checking your bank accounts, especially if you're writing checks. Just in Suffolk County, from January to April 1st, there was 89 reported incidents. Now, those numbers are a little low because the bank is refunding people, so that people aren't reporting them. So just make sure you guys are monitoring your bank accounts and make sure if you're writing a check that you're getting copies of those.
Yeah, we actually recommend if you're gonna mail a check, don't even use the blue boxes from the post office. Actually go into the post office and drop it in the slot, because we're finding out that the bad guys are also getting keys to those blue boxes. I mean, years ago they used to try to use the fish stick to get the mail out. They since invested so much money to prevent that, but now there's like one key fits all the blue boxes in certain areas, so they're actually robbing the postman. They're committing robbery on the postman just for that key. And then again, they get access. So if you have the time, take that little extra effort, walk into the post office, drop it in the slot. It won't alleviate all your problems, but it will reduce the probability of you becoming a victim in some capacity.
These are just some ways that we talk about how your ID is compromised, right? Just, digging through trash, digging through the mail, skimming devices. Does anyone know what a skimming device is? Yeah, so it's just a device that goes over like a card reader, right? And then the bad guys are just able to pull all the numbers. I just pulled one off that there was a camera on it. I was able to get the footage. It was like 12 hours of video footage. They were just watching the people put their cards in and their numbers in. So they have the numbers because they have something in the machine that actually reads the card numbers, but they also have your PIN. So what they're doing is they're going back to their apartment and they're just swiping onto blank cards, your card number, and then they have your PIN already. So we say, if you ever go, does anyone know how these are held on for the most part?
It's stuck tape.
Yeah.
Double stick tape.
Double-sided tape, exactly. So we don't recommend taking a crowbar and trying to break the machine, but definitely like wiggle a machine if you go up to it.
Yeah, we're finding these also at like retail stores or convenience stores. It's not just like the old ATMs in the banks. So it's actually they fit a perfect-looking piece of plastic over the card reader at like Stop and Shop or 7-Eleven, where you think you're going to tap your card or insert your card. You don't even realize it's on there. It's that good, so just be mindful of it.
I think they can actually print them now. You take a picture of it, and if they have a good 3D printer, you can actually make them. This is what I heard anyway.
Oh yeah, they do it. And they put their own name on it. We're getting a lot of.
Exactly like.
Yes.
But they still need that stuff off the magnetic strip or off the RFI.
You saying the whole machine's fake, or just there's a?
No, just the
It's
cover.
it's just like a cover on it.
Yeah. It takes them 2 seconds to put on.
Yeah.
You see the videos I show people, and they're like, "There's no way they do it that quick." They usually, distract the clerk and go get me a pack of cigarettes, and then it's 2 guys, and boom, it just goes on.
Yeah.
So
Just be mindful.
yeah. So scams. This is our high dollar cases, right? These are ones that people give away their life savings. This morning I took a statement from someone. She gave away $110,000. She was a victim of a computer scam, right?
Yeah.
So the way there's a few types of scams when it comes to there's a few types of scams. One of them is the computer scam, right? You'll get an alert on your computer that your computer has been hacked, right? And you have to call this number. Never call that number, right? If you shut that computer down, if you ever get an alert on your computer and it says call Microsoft, call this number, it's a complete scam. I promise you it is, right? And it's gonna set off bells and whistles. The woman this morning told me the alarm was so loud she got so scared, right? So she was frantic, right? So she called the number. That was the worst thing that she could have done, right? She called that number. Now she's out $110,000. her kids are a little upset with her. She gave away her life savings and their inheritance. So, it's funny. I mean, it's not funny, but the kids are usually more upset. How do you spot these? So a government official is never calling you to ask you for money. I promise you that the Suffolk County Police Department is not going to say, "Oh, you're going to be under arrest if you don't pay this amount of money." It's just never ever going to happen. We're seeing recently, it's not just our elder victims. We're having kids that are giving money. We're actually getting calls from the Suffolk County Police Department. We had 4 cases in the last week where Suffolk County Police Department called these 20-year-olds and told them that they were going to have a warrant for their arrest if they didn't sell this money somewhere, right? So spread the word, spread to your kids that this is, it's not just the elderly community. Another one that we saw, Tom and I, we went out on 11 in 1 week. So our team goes out anytime someone comes to the house. The second anyone comes to the house, our team goes out, right? We have a local lead, we have someone picking up money. In 1 week, we had 11 scams where they're the jail bail scam. So they get a call from their grandchild who they believe is their grandchild. They're in jail. They were on the phone. They told the cop they were on the phone. They got into a car accident, and now they owe it's going to be $20,000 for them to get bailed out. So what they do is they keep our victims on the hook. They call back later. After someone comes and picks up the $20,000. Oh, now it was a woman. She was pregnant. She lost a baby. The charges have been upgraded. And they're always going to tell you, never tell anyone, right? Because once you talk to someone, the gig is up, right? They know that. Once you tell a family member, it's over. So these are signs that, you're in the middle of a scam.
Yeah, we also have a romance scam, which they get like the divorcees or a widower. They reap on the fact that the loneliness of the person, and they're connecting with them on an online internet sort of dating site or even Facebook, and they get that relationship built, and then they start either using that person to get money from them or use that person to launder money through them. I'm going to send you a check. I'm overseas. I can't do any of my banking here. Can I send you this $130,000 check? Can you cash it and send it to my brother-in-law? So they just laundered $130,000 through their bank account, thinking that they're building a relationship with somebody abroad. So there's all these different types: jail bail, elderly, and romance scams. Just be aware. You got to be able to spot these imposters.
Does anyone know what spoofing is? So
The telephone number looks like one you recognize.
yeah. So a lot of times these scammers, right? We have an elderly community that they believe whatever's on the caller ID. Don't ever believe what's on that caller ID. It could say they'll make it say anything they want it to say. The IRS, the Suffolk County Police Department, they can make it your daughter, your son. Don't ever believe what's on that caller ID, because they can make it whatever they want. They can make that number whatever they want. So a lot of times our victims are saying, well, it said the IRS, right? So it must be legitimate. Have you ever tried to call the IRS, right? So just know that they can make it however they want to. They can make the number appear however they want it. They're calling from an internet number. So that's spoofing.
So we talk about this pay for a promise up front. The Publishers Clearinghouse back in the day, if you won it, the lady would come with the big check to your door, the balloons, the cameras. Well, what they're doing now is saying that you won the Publishers Clearinghouse, but you have to pay the fees and taxes up front. There is no woman that came to your door. It's just you got to pay, you won $15 million, but you have to pay $50,000 to get that money. And people are actually paying it. And we got one woman upwards of, what was it, 300?
I have a victim that's out $519,000 in 6 months. So, yeah, she thought she was paying the taxes and fees up front. So,
So unless the big check is coming,
Yeah.
don't be giving out any money.
Yeah. All right, so this is a very, very important one, right? We always say, like, if you just listen to this one, right, I promise you won't get scammed. So there's we say 5 ways now that we're seeing. So the first way is cash, right? I don't think in your lifetime anyone's ever come to your house and you give them cash, right? And a lot of times they're having our victims package it in a certain way, wrap it in paper, put it in a box. You don't want the guy to know that's coming to pick up the cash. So if anyone ever says, take out cash from the bank and hand it over to a courier, it's a scam. The second way is wiring money. Most people here probably only wired money when they close on their house, so don't wire money. Gift cards. This is a huge one. We see a lot of people, going and buying gift cards. They need to buy Home Depot gift cards, Sephora gift cards. These are ways that these scammers are easily getting the money, because then what happens with these gift cards, it becomes tough to investigate, because our victims are reading the gift cards over the phone. They're wiping out the gift cards and they're selling it on a third-party website, right? To some innocent victim, innocent person that is just purchasing a gift card at a discount. So, gift cards. Gold bars. I handled a case in Kings Park. A woman gave $270,000 in gold bars. That was a computer scam. That was the first one that we saw of gold bars. That was right when Tom and I came to the team. The FBI is looking heavily into anything that has to do with gold bars. And the fifth one is cryptocurrency. So if anyone ever tells you to go to an ATM, a Bitcoin ATM in New Jersey, it's 100% a scam. I had Teresa Palmer on our team, and ended up stopping a scam because a mother and daughter from Rocky Point were on a ferry to Connecticut to put money in a Bitcoin machine. The husband called 911 because the daughter texted the husband that they're on their way to Connecticut to put money in a Bitcoin machine. They're about to put $30,000 in a Bitcoin machine. So that it's 100% a scam.
Yeah, so that's the consider how you pay is the answer all. Like, no government agency is going to ask you to pay with gift cards. You're not going to be arrested if you don't pay with gift cards. So that is the key to take away from today, and that's the key to pass on to your neighbors and friends and anybody else that you think is, a possible victim or to be a victim.
Or Venmo or Zelle.
All of it, and consider how you pay. No government agency is going to say Zelle me money or Venmo me money. It's not how we work. All right. Talk to someone, as he said earlier. They want to. The bad guys want to isolate you. They want to keep the urgency, fear of whatever it is. Your grandson's in jail, or you're going to be arrested because your ID is used at the southern border for a fentanyl ring. Everything is urgent. They need that money. It's urgency and the fear that they put on you. They don't want you to talk to somebody, because the moment you talk to somebody, because they're not caught up in it, they're going to be like, you're being scammed, because it takes that calm mind. So they're going to keep you isolated. You have to talk to people, or if somebody that you know disappears for a couple days, they're probably being scammed. If they're always around, like, you call them and they're like, I can't talk now. Maybe inquire a little bit more. Maybe knock on the door, because it's quite possible that they're caught up in these scams, because they isolate them with fear. Your home is bugged, your phone is bugged, the computer's bugged, and they think that when we actually call, like, once we get involved, even for us to talk to these victims, they believe that we're part of the scam, because the scammers tell them the police are going to be at your house. They're part of the scam. They really get into the psyche of the victims, and it's sad. But it's the way we got to get ahead of this is, spread the word and look out for your neighbors. And, as we said earlier, you're probably not going to be the victim because you're getting these little points, but somebody will.
All right, so this is a big one. Probably tell your kids, right? We're getting a lot of these because now everyone's applying for summer jobs online. So what this scam is, this happens in romance scams also, but I want to talk about the younger generation. So they're applying for jobs online. They're doing the interview process online, and now they're getting a check. All right, here's a $10,000 check. You're gonna just wire me $5,000 back for the materials for the job. Well, what happens is, a kid's going to put that money in his bank account. He's going to think that he got $5,000. He's going to send the money for the material. And then 10 days later, the bank's going to say, that check's no good. So what happens is that kid's on the hook. So we're seeing a lot of this, especially now. Kids are applying for jobs. They're coming home from school. So make sure you educate your kids, your grandkids. And as Tom said before, this happens a lot in romance scams where we have victims that have relationships and now they're laundering money. They're depositing bad checks and moving the money around. Social media. So we always talk about this because Tom and I went out on a jail bail scam, right, where we had a grandpa say, well, how did they know to call me Poppy, right? Because a lot of times our victims they knew exactly what to call me. Well, all you have to do is pull up their social media. That's it, because their grandkids are posting, happy birthday, Poppy. Oh, I was hanging out with Poppy today. So it's an easy way. So don't only watch what you post, watch what your grandkids, your kids post, because these bad guys are using this information. Tom always talks about the romance scam that he dealt with. This woman got approached by someone. They both were interested in horses. They both went to Colombia. It was all a scam. They're doing their research before they're contacting our victims. Real quick, strong passwords. So I did a presentation with the FBI a month ago. Watch where you store your passwords. I don't know if you guys use notes in your phone. So they were doing a big takedown, and they were trying to figure out how all these bad guys were getting into these people's bank accounts. It turns out that most of the victims, when they were doing search warrants on the victims' phones, they were finding that their passwords and usernames were stored in their notes, right? So it was easy. That's the bad guys. They just got into their phones, and then all their passwords.
It all goes to iCloud. Once you put it in your notes, it automatically goes to iCloud. They hack iCloud. They got the keys to your kingdom.
So it's an old skimmer. They're much nicer nowadays. Don't believe the text messages either. That's another way people get scammed. If you get a text message from Citibank and it said there's Citibank fraud, make sure you're calling the number on the back of your card. Make sure you're talking to a legitimate person. Don't Google. Don't believe what's in the text. Make sure you do your own research and find the legitimate number, because you're going to call. If you call the number in the text, you could be calling a scammer.
You are.
Always look at the sender's actual email. That's a good
Yeah,
one.
exactly. Right there. You see it. Yep. Let's see. So real quick, billing statements. I told you guys every 60 days. That goes for every account that you guys have. That goes for retirement accounts. It goes for any type of account. If you are a victim of identity theft, make sure you contact the 3 credit agencies. You freeze your credit. It doesn't hurt to freeze your credit. Now, if you guys aren't purchasing houses or cars or trying to open up another credit card, freeze your credit. We have guys in the office, that freeze their credit.
They freeze their kids' credit.
Yeah, they freeze their kids'
Because what
credit.
these bad guys are doing is they're opening up lines of credit in the juvenile's social security number, and you don't find out till the kid's 18 anyway. You got to check the kid's, social security number as well.
So I had a victim of a T. Rowe Price retirement account, a 401k. Make sure you monitor that also, because if they get access to that, if you don't report it in a timely manner.
Yeah, we had a gentleman that got scammed over. It was like a year and a half, or what? It was like $300,000, but they only refunded him the last 60 days. So over that year and a half, all of that money is gone. They don't even mess with it. It's gone. It's a law. It's a regulation. So 60 days is the magic number.
I guess we'll go over it real quick. So anytime the government gives away free money, during COVID, they gave away, large amounts for unemployment, SBA loans. There's an increase in fraud, right? Because the bad guys know they can get money easily. So Tom Gabriel on our team, he did 15 search warrants. I think this number might be more, and he made 135 arrests just on unemployment scams. And a large group was from up here in Huntington. So, and these were not nerds. These were gang members. These were bad guys. They all over social media, guns and money. That's what they were posting. So he did a few search warrants, got a couple guns, recovered a lot of cash.
Yeah.
So we had a lot of victims in the Suffolk County Police Department, police officers that were working, and people were filing unemployment under them. So anytime the government's giving out free money, make sure you guys monitor your stuff.
So we're also finding out that a lot of the gang members are realizing that the penalty for getting caught doing a financial crime isn't as severe as a gun or drug charge. So it's actually a very lucrative business without the risk. So they're getting into it. They're dabbling into it a lot more.
So this is Yasha. This is how the victim had to package the money, right? See in the bottom left, it would look like a present, right? So if anyone has you package money like that, it's a scam. They had them, what is it? What was the bullion?
J&M?
JM
J&M
Bullion. That's where
Bullion,
That's where they bought those gold bars from. Had them shipped to their house, and then they came and picked them up. Cash. They wanted pictures of all the money. Yasha was just he's a courier, but thanks to him, they were going to be taking down. Well, the FBI is going to be taking down a call center in India. So, you know, it started with a small arrest, but you know he's going to be passed around the whole East Coast with charges. He went as far as Maryland to pick up. The victim was out 2.8 million. So, as I said, call your credit. You could also file a report on identitytheft.gov, ftc.org, and then you guys could call us, right? Call us if you guys have any questions. Feel free to call us. If you have a question tomorrow, call me. This is our number, right? We're there for questions. Yeah.
How about this Venmo and Zelly stuff that so many people are doing, sending to the children on the school,
Mhm.
back and forth?
So we don't see really a problem with it. There's no safe way to bank.
So
Yeah.
you write a check, it could be counterfeited or whitewashed. You use a credit card, it could be skimmed. You carry cash, you're going to get mugged. So at some point, you got to live your life, but you just want to limit, what's out there. If you're going to use Zelle or Venmo, know the recipient. That's just it. If you don't know the recipient or you don't know what you're sending it to, don't send it. That's just it. Know your client, as they say, is what the term they use in the corporate world. Know your client. Know where that money's going.
How about Apple Pay?
It's all the same. Any
same
of
thing.
those, can it be compromised? Anything can be compromised. You keep you don't use the bank, you keep your money on your mattress, they're breaking your house. Like at some point, you just got to continue living your life. Just shred your documents, make it hard. The criminals are super lazy. If you put a bunch of barriers and walls up and hurdles, they're going to move next door. If you shred your documents, and they do pull garbage still, believe it or not. My in-laws over the weekend, a guy came and took his garbage. It was the weirdest thing. I thought it was antiquated. I thought it was an old thing that we had on there. I was like, we don't really see that anymore. This weekend, my in-laws were over and they pulled his garbage because it's still people. They get lazy. They don't shred it. If you shred yours, your neighbor don't. They're going to get your neighbor's name, dates of birth, bank account numbers, things of that nature. So make it difficult and live your life. That's all.
Did you get money back, like if you find it, does it go back to the victim or no?
It happens.
So, that's hard. It depends on how we get it. So if we get the courier and we were able to jump on them right there, obviously that money's that person's. A lot of times, with the feds, it goes into a large pool. So how do they say it's your 30,000, his 60,000, her 90,000? It's I just think probably somebody's getting that money. But
And real quick, with the 60 days, that's only if you're not
a participant.
a participant in the money. So if you get on the phone and you give the guy your social security number and you tell the bank that you gave them your social security number, and then your bank accounts get wiped, you will not get refunded. I promise. The banks are very strict with that.
Like the
So-
remote access to your computers. A lot of these computer scams where your computer locks up, they think they're talking to Microsoft and they give this remote access. Now you're a participant. It's not like somebody over there just got your, hacked your information. It's you participated in this and you're not, you might not get that money back. And I always say, like, you wouldn't give the garbage man or the postman or the UPS man access to your computer. You wouldn't let him in and give that access. Why would you give somebody remote access that you wouldn't know? And you'd be surprised. You would be surprised.
Everything you said is great. I know that I was a former IT professional. Bad guys only need 3 pieces of information to steal your identity. You need your full name, your initial. You need your actual birthday, and then you need your social security.
That's it.
If they get those 3 pieces of information, you are screwed.
Keys to the
Yeah.
kingdom.
It's very, very important to keep that social security number very secure. I just want to relate that there's something you missed. I was actually a victim of a computer scam about a year ago. There was obviously a breach in one of the dark web password things, and somebody got a hold of my passwords, many passwords, and I got a threatening email demanding Bitcoin with instructions on how to pay the Bitcoin.
Mhm.
Now, I'm told that this is somewhat common. Now, I was able to get around all of that because I happen to know how to deal with computer issues. But the solution to that type of problem is something known as two-stage verification, which a lot of people don't know about. If you're on Facebook or Instagram or whatever, with a password, they usually offer something called two-step verification,
Yep.
where you have to get a text to your phone to have access to your account to change your password.
Yeah.
That the bad guy will never have because he doesn't have your cell phone number.
Yeah.
So I just want to let people know, if you have access to something called two-step verification, do it.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's real important.
Yeah.
Somebody else had another question over here, sir? You had your hand up?
No, I was just gonna say that, Zelle is one thing, Venmo, they get your access to your account, they don't owe you anything. So Zelle is associated with a bank, whereas Venmo's some free service. So
Right.
if you're gonna use one, use Zelle, Venmo is very dangerous.
Mhm.
Okay.
They don't owe you anything, there's no commitment.
Gotcha.
No, we appreciate you guys because, like, you know, we learn from our victims. Unfortunately, you know, a lot. It's always changing. So every time we think we're ahead of something, we learn new ways. So we like to spread the word.
Is it possible for someone who's been a victim of ID theft to erase their information off of the web? Do you recommend that? Is that possible?
I don't.
Like their
Yeah.
address. You know everyone's address.
That's, from my understanding, and maybe you could, square that up with an IT guy, but like once it's on that dark web, it's forever out there. The ability for you to do that is virtually impossible to my knowledge. Again, I couldn't speak.
We don't
Financial
like to
crime,
scare
not
you guys,
computer
but
crimes.
everyone's information's out there. My information's out there. We just say you got to monitor your stuff, right? Yeah, it's all out there. It's just waiting for someone to use it. We're all been a part of some type of breach along the lines.
Yeah, don't you hate those news stories? It's like, check your stuff. 38 million people just breached.
Yeah. Yep.
So what
What's
you're
that?
saying is just to monitor your bank information every 60 days, and that should,
Or less.
or less, and that should somewhat.
Yeah, and monitor your credit. If you don't monitor your credit, at least you get a free credit report from each of the credit agencies once a year. So do one every 4 months.
Right, you get three.
So you get
yeah.
3. So
All free.
Yep.
Thank you.
And if you don't recognize anything on there, report it right away.
Ticketron just got all of their information released,
Oh, Okay.
Really?
including your credit card information.
Wow.
You had a question?
My mom was actually a victim of the check washing. She lives in a condo, and she put her outgoing mail, which was her mortgage payment and her HOA payment, in her. And then it's so easy in a condo. They just walk by and they just pull all the mail out of everybody's box,
Yep.
Yeah.
and they washed her name and the dollar amounts. So her checks would have been maybe $2,000, and they got $7,000
Yeah.
out of her account.
Yeah.
And some weird guy's name,
Mhm.
Google, whatever.
Yeah.
So it's.
Yeah, it's very
the bank
very
ended up
common.
Giving it back to her, but it took like 3 months.
90 days.
Yeah.
Usually their
Yeah.
investigation
Yeah,
concludes in
it
90
took
days.
3 months.
So a lot of times with that, we find out that where that money goes is also another victim. It's
Yeah.
part of a romance scam. So it's really an organized crime what these guys are doing. They're washing the check and funneling that money into actually another victim's account, and that money gets washed again. And by the time we get to it, it's in some shell company in California,
Yeah,
and it's
then
over.
It was like a really,
it's over.
really unique name, and I looked it up, and basically the bank was able to track that it was an ATM card. So like some guy in Jamaica was bribed for his ATM card, like they bought his card off him. And then they used that account to deposit my mom's money into, and then instantly it was pulled out and it's gone.
Yeah, it's always moving. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
So you didn't mention this one, but I've gotten multiple calls over a period of time,
Mhm.
electric company.
Okay.
They're insisting that I didn't pay my bill, and they shut off my electric.
Mhm.
Very still it is to put pressure on you. And they were trying to get me to buy gift cards.
Yes, that's yeah. So there's so many different varieties. I could sit here all night and talk about all the varieties that we deal with. So we try and just do the points of like, you know, the ones that we're seeing a lot of, and you know, and our team only handles above 3,000. So a lot of times we don't see like, you know, they might say your electric bill is $500. We wouldn't see it.
Yeah, we don't even see that.
Yeah.
Just look more, don't, if you're looking for a phone number, don't trust numbers you get from Google.
Don't.
Nope.
To infiltrate
Yeah.
Google.
Yeah,
It's
so I did-
false numbers that they can scan you.
So I didn't talk about that point, but NYPD reached out to us. They are working a case where Russian hackers are buying up Google space. So when you type in Bank of America, Bank of America customer service, the number pops up right away. Don't always believe that number, because they're buying up the space so that their number comes up there. Yeah.
Yep.
So don't go to the legitimate website. The legitimate website. Make sure that you're on the legit Bank of America, not Bank of like America.
Call on the
like,
card of the statement.
Yeah. So.
That is huge. A couple of years ago, PayPal, I looked up the number because I had an emergency thing. It was now PayPal. But
Yep.
Yes.
I got sucked in because I was panicking because it was a missed card, and all of a sudden he wanted all this information. And I
Yes.
was like, wait a minute, why do you need my bank account? But I went along with it at first because I was in a panic and it sounded normal and I thought I called PayPal.
Yes.
It wasn't.
Yes.
And if you look at it, that was it. It was just that phone number.
Yes. Yeah.
Very few.
Very common.
My bank too, same thing.
Is there any kind of ink or pen that they can't wash? Because I was under the impression that someone told us that gel
Gel.
pens.
Yeah. So we've been told gel pens, but we don't like to say that because if it gets washed, then you guys are gonna be coming to us and being like, you told me that it couldn't get washed, and then so we always say the bad guys can figure out a way. If there's a will, there's a way. So.
So then we don't know gels.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta do whatever you've done your entire life. You know, if you've done that your entire life, I wouldn't change a way. Yeah.
If you don't do $3,000, under $3,000, who does under $3,000 if you want to report it?
Oh, you can 100% report it. It's just that
The
that wouldn't
general
come to our
squad.
team.
Yeah, the general
So,
squad handles it.
Yeah, they had to cut off a limit because we handled 2,400 cases of fraud last year. So, at some point when they created our team, they had to cut it off at a limit. Just Suffolk County. Yeah.
How's your arrest rate with that number?
Not that great. I wish more. Yeah.
Yeah. Because you
Our-
got to
our-
put somebody behind that ID. So they're using your ID. Now I got to find out that it was him. Like, but I'm tracking you, but it's it's hard to put the body behind that crime. It's hard. But we do.
A question about like a jurisdiction, right? So if somebody's like out of state scamming me,
So identity theft, we have jurisdiction everywhere. Yeah, but other crimes we do not. Yeah, the identity theft is the only one
The
that we do.
caveat to that, though, is unfortunately the department's not sending us to California to knock on
Yeah.
doors. So the ability for us to investigate it, it's watered down exponentially. So.
Would you go to Canada?
Oh, I'd love to.
Florida, yeah, that's different.
Yeah, no worries.
About the checks at the post office that recently had.
Yes, the post office.
Oh, you went over that already?
No, the post office did make an arrest with someone stealing checks.
How do we get our, like, I'm missing
Several
several.
checks.
Yes.
So
And they're all ones that on the envelope who they're from.
yeah, so we have to file a police report, and then you're gonna have to file with the bank for sure.
Not the post office?
No, the post office won't refund it. So with that case, I don't even think they know who the victims are because all they have is a guy on camera putting the checks in his pants. So,
And
yeah.
do they know how long that's been going on?
I don't know the
Yeah,
exact
it's
answer.
their
Yeah.
investigation.
Yeah,
That's a
it's
federal
theirs.
investigation.
Yeah, they just called us about it and then just gave us a little tip that they were going to lock someone up. So it's a federal investigation, so they don't give us too much. Yeah. Yeah.
You guys go to the second precinct?
Yeah. And go to second precinct, make a police report, and then yeah. Yep.
All right.
My dad is 25, South in Israel.
Okay.
What's the best system, they're in a war right now in Israel.
Yeah.
What's the best way to, I want to tell my dad with money, and what's the best way to do it? They go PayPal, what you think, or?
I would guess. How have you sent them? Whatever way you've used in the past.
Boys, now
Yeah, is there a way? Yeah.
Probably Zelle.
Is if there's a way to send them money through the bank securely, then that would do it that way for sure. Yeah. Yeah.
You had some over here, sir?
Yes.
It's a security app that you're paying for,
Mm-hmm.
and then and I have my passcodes in that, is that considered safe? I mean, I have a book at home, I'm old school. I have a
Yeah.
book at home.
Safest way is the old school way.
So like LifeLock, is that what you're talking about? Are you
No.
talking about
Yep.
LifeLock?
Yeah.
Yep. Just gonna pull that
Yep.
out. Yeah, sorry.
No, no.
Yeah, we got a question, sir?
I'll pull this out. Sorry.
All right, so one more
Yeah,
time?
I heard LifeLock. Yeah, we can't like push any programs, but people do use it, especially if
mean
you're
debit
a
cards?
constant
What
victim
about
of
them?
identity theft. So.
And is that possible that one?
So that's a personal thing. From my understanding, when you use a debit card, it comes right out of your bank. When you use a credit card, you're kind of using their money. So if there's any fraud or dispute or anything like that, it's kind of hard to dispute the money when it already left your checking account versus disputing a charge that is on the credit card. But that's a personal preference. That's whatever you feel. I'm a credit card kind of guy personally. My wife is a debit card woman. So we're just, that's it.
Yes. Oh, this is.
That's it. Monitor your account.
This is for this. Remote. Yeah.
Got to make the reports, monitor your accounts. Yep,
And ransomware?
that's it.
Ransomware.
Ransomware on your computer?
That's what he talked about. Yeah.
Or you have like the Bitcoin, yeah.
Also, another crime that we're seeing, just I know you guys want. So another one is where spoofed emails. So if you're closing on a house, just make sure it's your lawyer telling you to wire the money, and if he's telling. I have a case where he was closing on a house. He got an email from his lawyer. All right, you have to send 70,000 here. It was a spoofed email. So meaning it looked almost exactly like his email. It was a digit off, and now he wired the money 70,000 somewhere. So.
Thank you so much.
Yeah,
Thank
all
you.
right, thank you. Thanks, guys. All right, a lot of people came late, so for those of you who don't know who I am, I'm Inspector Kevin Williams, Commanding Officer of the 2nd Precinct. Thanks for coming out. We got a really good crowd tonight. I hope you enjoyed that presentation. The information got out there. I'm passionate about that. I talk about it at every meeting. My mother was almost a victim of the bail scam. They called her and they actually used my son's name. So when they talk about that they do some research before they call, they almost sucked her in. She was sharp enough to realize that it wasn't my son who was calling her. As a matter of fact, the voice sounded different. So she said, "It doesn't sound like you." But then they went on and said, "Well, he's like, I hit my mouth during a car accident and I'm bleeding." And so they were always like one step ahead. So, I mean, to see this presentation is great. I would like to say that the check washing has become more frequent. And myself, I will not mail a check unless I actually walk it into the post office. But I believe they found a guy in the post office who was stealing mail. So, I mean, again, you got to live your life. But I know they've been doing a lot of this with the checks. So I wrote those 3 checks. I mailed them. I actually just checked today my bank account to make sure they cleared and in the amounts that they were written out for. There was nothing that seemed out of the ordinary. So they were all, like my car registration, stuff like that. So yeah, that was great. I've been trying to get them down here because I see more and more of these scams, and I usually pick one out for every month just to talk about, to try and get the information out there. Okay, so we'll move along with the meeting. Thanks again. Let's do the index crimes year to date. No homicides, that's good. Robberies, this year we had 6, last year we had 9. We're down a little on robberies. Assaults, 32 this year. Last year at this time, 39, down again. Residential burglaries, 14 this year, 19 last year. Down, another number that's down. Most of our numbers are down. That's a good thing year to date. Commercial burglaries, 7 this year. Last year at this time we had 27. So we did have a serial burglar out there, and so we're doing pretty good this year. Larcenies are down 584. Last year we at this point 727. Vehicle thefts also down 18 this year as opposed to 43 last year. So numbers looking good. These numbers anyway. Second precinct monthly, so April to May. So in April, let's just go to robberies. No robberies in April, just 1 in May. So that's up a little bit. Assaults, we're even at 5 apiece. I have a couple on the rest of the presentation to talk about. Residential burglary, we had 3 in April, just 1 in May. That makes me happy. Commercial burgs, 1 in April, none in May, even better. 97 larcenies in April. May, we're up a little, 126. Larcenies are real prevalent now. I talk about it all the time. Locking up your car, locking up all your belongings, taking your belongings out of your cars. When you go shopping at the mall, you know, pay attention to your pocketbook in the shopping cart, all that stuff. There's a lot of larcenies going on. A lot of them deal with cars and people breaking into cars and stealing things out of cars. So if you could just take any valuables out of your car, they'll usually just, if it's locked, they'll try the door, they'll move on. But if there's a pocketbook, they probably smash the window. So, you know, it's simple as that, really. Just trying a little preventative maintenance helps out. So that's good. And vehicle thefts were even at 3. Okay, you probably saw this in the paper. Any of you who pay attention to what's going on in Huntington, this was a vicious assault that occurred on Sunday, May 12th, at 10 p.m. So Las Lajas Deli, 156 Depot Road, Huntington Station. So it's like a deli, but they serve alcohol there. It's like they can serve, and they have tables in there. They're not supposed to operate as a bar. They were operating as a bar. So what happened? Guy was drinking in the deli. He didn't have enough money to pay the bill. He got into an argument with the bartender. Another patron who was just trying to kind of diffuse the situation gets involved, and he winds up getting stabbed, seriously stabbed. He was stabbed in the chest, in the neck, and the guy eviscerated him. He cut him right across the stomach. Pretty horrific scene. I was told that the officers who responded did a real fabulous job of rendering first aid to this gentleman. They were smart enough to grab saran wrap, and they were able to wrap his intestines, which is very important. You have to keep them moist. But if they didn't get there as quick as they did and render the first aid, this gentleman could have possibly died. So I commended those officers already. They did a fabulous job. They were there quick. They arrested the offender. He was there. Yeah, so that's it. The guy was taken to Huntington Hospital, and he had to be transferred to South Shore, which is a level trauma center, higher level, to keep him alive. So he did survive.
Wow.
Pretty rough one. Assault first.
This is a deli, why was there a bartender?
I'll speak about it in a minute because we went back to visit them. This was an assault that occurred on Saturday, the 11th at 1 a.m. down in the village. A lot of bars down there. Every once in a while, there's some confrontations. This was at Finley's, Green Street. Guy got into an argument with an unknown suspect. Then the guy struck him with a beer bottle in the head and caused a laceration above his left eye. The victim was treated at Plainview Hospital and received 15 stitches. So this is still under investigation. Just a regular bar fight that escalated into an assault too. Detectives will be working on that one. Another assault, I'm sorry. This was, I reported last community meeting about this assault that occurred down on Church and Lowndes in Huntington Station. This victim was walking down the street, was approached by 4 males. They beat him up pretty good and they stabbed him. The reason I have it up is because I'm just updating everybody. All the suspects were arrested by a precinct crime section officer. Yeah, guys did a great job. The investigator will identify everybody, and every one of them was arrested, so that's good. This was the robbery that I was talking about on Sunday the 19th, 11:20 p.m., West 11th Street, Huntington Station. Complainant was walking home on 11th Street. He was approached by 5 Hispanic males. They claimed they were MS-13. They were wearing black pants, white shirts, hoodies that covered their faces. They wanted all his property, and then he refused, and they began to physically assault him. They punch kicked him, and one of the suspects pulled a knife on him. They stole his wallet, and they fled on foot. That's recent. That's under investigation by the detectives. Guy was just minding his own business walking down the street. This was a burglary that occurred Jones Lane, Huntington Station, on Thursday the 2nd, 9:45 p.m. Complainant came out of his bedroom, and he observed an unknown female standing in his kitchen. Yeah, this is a little strange. When he asked her to leave, she refused, and she went to his refrigerator and grabbed something to drink. And then she went into his bathroom, and he tried to get her out, and she wouldn't come out. When he went to call the police, she went out of the bathroom, went into a bedroom, and she did some damage in the bedroom. And it looks like she was arrested, but because she didn't leave, and when the cops got there, they arrested her. But it appears, and this is what I always talk about, that she gained access to the house through the unlocked front door. So even if you're home, you know, it's a good idea to lock the door. I know a lot of us feel very comfortable in our homes, and we just leave the door open because we're home. Sometimes people will wander around the neighborhood, you never know, and they sometimes try a door and they just walk in your house. So there might be some mental illness involved here, or intoxication or something with this one, but it is burglary, and anyway, so total stranger just walked into somebody's house. They arrested her at the scene. Okay, this was another big news story. The police department put out this Operation Smokeout. We were already ahead of the curve on this one. I talk about this every month. We've been hitting these smoke shops on a regular basis. Our PCS team does a great job. The lieutenant we have running it is fabulous. He's on top of this. So we were doing it already, but we stepped it up a little because the department did a big press conference and they wanted to do. So these are the stats. During the month of May, on 4 separate dates, our PCS officers conducted compliance checks on numerous smoke shops located in the town of Huntington. Total of 69 checks were made, resulting in 15 violations by employees of these places for the following different charges: unlawful sale of cannabis without a license, sale of flavored vape products, unlawfully dealing with a child first, that means selling alcohol to someone underage, and also unlawfully dealing with a child second, and was selling tobacco products to someone underage.
Vape shops sell alcohol?
Yeah, some of them have, like the refrigerators and whatnot in there. Yes, go ahead. They have to have a liquor license, though.
I just want to clarify, there are no recreational marijuana shops within Second Precinct.
That is correct, yes. A lot of these places, this is, I know the state's trying to work on this, and probably the county. So many of these places are just selling, cannabis like they're a licensed shop, and they're not.
You better walk through Greenwich Village sometime.
Yeah, I can imagine. It's just crazy because, they're supposed to have these licenses to sell. They're supposed to apply to the state. And I know, they're losing all kinds of tax revenue and stuff. And these places, it's amazing. They have all the stuff like on display, and they're going to probably wise up soon. But, it's in the back. If you ask, they get it. So that's why we've been hitting a lot of these places. They just operate illegally, and it's like there's no repercussions. Go ahead.
What's the penalty when they get caught?
Yeah, so they're arrested for those charges, but those are minor charges, really. I think they're going to probably come up with something for unlicensed, maybe to make it a higher fine or something where they discourage these people, because right now they're making money. That's the bottom line. Yes?
These places get closed at that point, or they just get
No, not normally. Sometimes the town gets involved, and then they might do some type of investigation. We haven't actually shut, well, actually, I shouldn't say that. We have shut a few down, you know, but they reopened, you know, very shortly after, so. Okay, so we went back to La Hastelli, okay? Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, a lot of times the owners aren't there, and we charge the employee because we usually sometimes we use an undercover underage agent to do it. So we have to have the person who did it right there, and then, you know, for court purposes, you know, you have to have everything that makes the case good. So yeah, you know, I'm sure that every once in a while we get an owner there, and we got no problem with locking up the owner if we can. But a lot of times they just have a poor clerk working there. But you know, they know what the rules are. They're not supposed to sell to underage. They're supposed to ask for ID, and they don't. So you know, this is the problem with a lot of these places. Yes.
The gentleman just made a statement about that there's no recreational stores that would sell this in the second precinct.
Yes, the town opted out for licensing a legal marijuana dispensary here, right? That's correct? Yeah.
There's one across the mall that's
Medical, yes, yeah. That's a medical one.
I'm sorry? That's medical. No, because I walked in there and they didn't ask me for any kind of proof that I needed medically. It's a huge store on 110.
The one across from the mall?
Southville area. Yeah, that is. I can't think of
I'm sure you're not talking about the one in Farmingdale?
Sunnyside. Yeah. What's the name? Sunnyside. No, it's right by Adventureland.
Oh, that's Farmingdale.
Oh, so that's not town of Huntington. Yeah. Yeah, I know that Huntington was one of the towns that opted out to not have the legal. Yeah.
And it's always busy in here.
Yes. Yeah.
Can I bring back a question there? I'm curious about something.
Go ahead.
It's a learning thing for me. Regarding all these vape shops that are selling cannabis and they're not supposed to be and stuff like that. Now, far be it from me to quote law because I'm not a lawyer, but if a liquor store opened up that had no permits to sell liquor, they'd close them up left and right and
Yeah.
the owner would be gone and so would the shop and all the contents
Yeah.
within.
Yes, I would
So
agree.
Why not for the cannabis? Is that a totally different law? Or is
You know, I don't know if they have enough laws in place right now, or you know, maybe they're not as serious as they need to be. It's all kind of new because they just legalized marijuana, so we're going through the learning curve here, I think, with how we're going to enforce this. You know, we are certainly doing our part here in a second, but you know, I mean, the state, there probably needs to be stiffer penalties and higher fines to discourage this. But you know, these are minor charges, really.
right now? Okay, cool.
The person purchasing it, because I know the one in Huntington Village, she bought some stuff there.
Marijuana.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is she in trouble also? Like,
No, no.
so
Well,
they're allowed to do that. I mean, they're not liable for anything if they go in there and purchase it.
we prefer to
So
charge
they're
the
not
people that you know are the supplier, because you know they're the ones that they have it out and they're making it available. You know, it's unfortunate people go in and buy it. That's, you know, how things work. But you know, that's why we hit these places and trying to shut them down. But you know, they restock up, and then they're back in business. If there was a way to shut them down permanently, I would love to know how to do it, and I would have no problem doing it. So, anyway, we went back to the bar where the assault occurred to do a state liquor authority check, and we went back on May 17th, about 9 p.m. The manager was arrested for operating a disorderly premise, and he was issued several summonses for other state liquor authority violations. The bouncer was also arrested. He had an active bench warrant, and another patron in the place was arrested for a bench warrant, and he had cocaine on him. So the business, they shut it down for the night. They were told by the SLA they're not supposed to have the bar. We'll have to go back, we'll see if they complied with any of the, but the SLA inspector went with people that night, and I think the town was with us too.
Can you explain what a bench warrant is?
Bench warrant is a warrant that goes out for you, okay, if you don't show up for your court hearing. Then they put out a bench warrant because you're supposed to show up for court on a certain date, and if you don't, the judge will issue a bench warrant for you. That means he wants you there in front of him.
So that could even be a traffic thing, right?
Yeah, I think they might do it for traffic. Maybe. I don't know 100% on that. Okay, we hit a massage parlor. We get a lot of community complaints about these places popping up all over. This is one of them. On May 9th, in response to community complaints, our crime section officers, Suffolk DA's office, Town of Huntington Fire Marshal, and Code Enforcement conducted the investigation at 124 East Main Street, Huntington, Suite 16, almost right across from Town Hall. Pretty amazing, right? Two women were arrested for unauthorized practice of a profession, which is give massages. You're not licensed. You have to have a license to do that. That's a pretty heavy charge. It's a felony. And then, and also for prostitution, they offered sex, whatever sex.
Wait.
So this was in an office
Yeah.
building?
Not having a license for massage is a felony?
Yes.
But prostitution
Yes, it
is
is.
a misdemeanor?
That's
Yeah.
correct.
You're
Yeah.
kidding.
No, I'm not. It's right there. Yeah. You have to have a license to do the massages, you know. I guess you got to apply and they want money. Whatever it is, whatever the case is, but that's the charges they were charged with. And yeah, prostitution is the lesser of the two. And the town issued several code violations and they're conducting a further investigation.
Was this a foot spa or a massage parlor? What was
You know what? I don't know how it was advertised because it was in one of these suites. So I just maybe they were doing advertises on you know, on the internet or something. I don't think it was an actual, you know, foot spa because we didn't have. Usually I have the name of the foot spa, whatever it may be.
interesting?
So I'd have to talk to the lieutenant because they did the full investigation. But the complaints came in through the community, so obviously there was activity there that everybody was suspicious of. This was a search warrant on Wednesday the 29th, 6 a.m. on 11th Avenue, Huntington Station. Our detectives and narcotics detectives executed a search warrant. They recovered drug paraphernalia, scales, packaging, and an illegally possessed shotgun. The owner was had prior convictions. He wasn't entitled to have a shotgun. So he was arrested and charged with weapons possessions. The site team, I talk about the site team a lot. It's the highway patrol. Our highway patrol goes into, comes into Huntington. They go to every town, but they hit Huntington on, you know, on a regular basis. So they were in the 2nd Precinct a couple of times during the month of May. They hit the following streets: Sweet Hollow, Pulaski, Vanderbilt, Seaman Neck, Call, Straight Path, Depot. A lot of these places are, you know, locations we get frequent complaints about speeding and all other kinds of traffic violations. Sweet Hollow, right? So they were down there. They issued 133 summonses in a few days they were here, and 111 of them for moving violations. So I know all of you want us at every stop sign in the neighborhoods and also speeding. We are out there. We don't have as many officers as highway, you know, and their specialty is this. So they assist us and we appreciate them, but they do bang out a lot of moving violations, which is nice. Doesn't seem to be helping. I don't know. Everybody's same complaints. I know you saw them on Sweet Hollow.
I also think that I think everything is mosaic. I think it is helping.
Oh, good. Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah, and the presence, I really do believe it's got to be making.
I actually talked to the sergeant who runs this, and I mentioned Sweet Hollow for you, and only because, you know, I was hoping they would get up there. He said it was very difficult to do the speed enforcement up there. We had some back and forth. I appreciated him going there, and so anyway, and I know Jimmy's been up there, our other guys. So anyway, they were here, did a great job. Yes, sir.
You guys do any warrants? I know there's a law in New York State the last few years about modified mufflers that are really loud. Do you do anything?
Well, yeah, I mean, we could write those. We just got to stop the car. I mean, all these officers in the back, you see, they do this on a regular basis. That's their job, and they're very good at it, you know. It's one of our things that we get a lot of complaints, so they know if they see these guys. And, you know, there's so many of these car clubs now, and this is the big thing. They make these little sports cars, and they make them loud, and they're very annoying to everybody, myself included. But, you know, I mean, we have to catch them to ride them, but we do.
You have a separate category, like how do you know numbers?
Oh, yeah, loud muffler. I don't know. I'd have to. I don't know if I could actually research it. I could try.
Have you seen a drop in all those speeding cars that are on the roads and stuff? You know, like
The car clubs. Is that what you're talking
all
about?
the ones that are speeding down the roads and like crazy. Have you seen them?
No, I would say no because you know, especially now this time of the year, they're all out and they use social media and they gather together and they cause problems everywhere. I know we have problems in this precinct. Many precincts. Okay, first precinct, third. They tend to use the park and rides, the industrial parks. I get complaints all the time. We've been going down. We just started hitting this Melville park and ride a lot because I got, you know, community complaints coming in. So.
That hasn't dropped. That's still going.
No, yeah, it's continuing. We've hit quite a few of them where they gather and we get a heads up on social media. So they did one where they confiscated a couple cars and they wrote over 100 tickets. I mean, but yes, man, go ahead.
Yeah, so I assume that these locations change every month?
They,
How do you
yes, they do.
prepare to, monitor
It comes in through you, through the community.
calls to the precinct?
Yeah, I get, you know, we have certain ones that we always get, you know, like Vanderbilt and Pulaski, Sweet Hollows 1, Depot Road, Oakwood Road. This, I mean, there's a list this long. The sergeant who runs the unit that does enforcement, they have a list in their office, and we kind of rotate and try and, you know, to be fair to everybody, to hit all these different locations. And then Highway knows too, because they talk to them, and I'll talk to the sergeant and say, hey, I got a complaint on this one. Can you send somebody down there? You know, so.
Okay, so if I have a particular street I want to speak to somebody about, you
Yes, she'll take it. Somebody, yeah. You got it? What street? Oh, okay, yeah, and that's another one. He knows he could just reach out to me, so it's no problem. We'll send him down. We'll send him down, you know.
Years ago, we got 4 stop signs put in because everybody was using
Cut through, yeah.
to get to the train station. We were driving down our street. I had a police radar gun.
Yeah,
And I was clocking them doing 60 and 70 miles an hour.
it's crazy, yeah. Yeah, people, you know, they're inconsiderate to the people who live there. Yes?
We'll give you guys credit, because we were here 2 months ago and we had major car, people, gangs, whatever they were.
Okay.
By the Amazon.
Oh, yes, yes, yes. Yeah, I actually went down there myself.
In our community, we were calling out complaints and we came down here.
Yeah.
It's
Okay,
completely
all
quiet.
right. Yeah, we've been trying to get ahead of it. Thank you for saying that. We've been trying to get ahead of these car clubs because they're very annoying. We're trying to discourage them from coming here to Suffolk County because a lot of them don't live here. We're doing everything we possibly can. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yes, sir. You look familiar. Go ahead. What do you got?
My road is, I guess, but it must be an invisible ink.
Nothing? Okay.
Absolutely nothing.
No, I was telling the sergeant, he's in charge of the guys that do the speeding and stuff, and he knows.
like action or investigation that can be done for these spotted cars, especially if they're identifiable, if you know who they are, give that information to the cops and some of it?
Yeah, so we live across the street from like a parking lot where they're always meeting up, like just about every night. I'd say
Okay,
at least 4 times a week.
where is that? All right.
Some of them, like, at the middle of the night, 100 miles an hour.
Yeah.
We have a camera too, so we can show you plenty of videos. We have license plate numbers. We know
You do?
all their addresses. And
Speak to the sergeant afterwards and give him that information, please. Yeah, we could knock on doors and run plates and say, hey.
I mean, yeah,
We have to witness the violations. That's the tough part.
Yeah, I've actually seen them backfiring their exhaust in front of an officer and then they just drove off right after.
Yeah,
I have
well.
a video of that as well. Like, yeah.
I know it's later at night, so that's a little harder for us because a lot of our teams we're pretty you know, a lot less at night. So, but when these guys are working, they work till like midnight, so we could go down there and we'll check it out for you. Just speak to the sergeant.
After midnight
No, I know, but we're a little short then, so it's harder.
Usually anywhere between like 6 p.m. and like 2 a.m. Like we do.
Okay, all right, no problem. Let the sergeant know. All right, I think he knows about this already, so they'll just have to go down there.
Out for years, but
Is it weekends mostly, or is it during the week?
mostly weekends, but
Okay.
during the week as well. So
Yeah, okay,
I'd say Fridays and Saturdays is like pretty consistent. Like it happens just about every weekend. During
Okay.
the week it's kind of random. Like sometimes it'll be every day during the week. They'll show up.
all right.
We've gotten like
Yeah, it's the summertime thing.
No, it's all winter.
All winter. Where's it? Please give the information to the sergeant in the back, and he will put it on the list. The quads are difficult. We don't like to chase them because there's liability involved with that. If we chase them and they get killed, they're coming after us. So it's difficult. You'd have to catch them coming in and out of wherever they're coming from. So if the community finds out where they live and kind of whispers that in our ear, that helps, you know, because maybe we could get them before they can leave the driveway. If I know they
And they have the
No
bikes
problem.
too. The
got that. Take the.
bikes and the
Please see the sergeant and let him know where this is occurring. We'll do the best we can. We do not like to chase them. It's a big problem. But I'm sorry?
It's the same people.
Yeah, in the neighborhood, you know. Again, I say, these people are inconsiderate to everybody. They don't care. They just do whatever they want. And, you know, that's not good. But if we can catch them in the act, we'll impound it, take it away.
Everyone's doing donuts on
Yeah. I'm always happy when I come into the precinct in the morning and I see a quad in the back, because that means I know that we got somebody, or a dirt bike or something. Yeah.
Is there like the sleep act or something like that? Like there was like a New York State law maybe like 3 years ago. I think they like increased the fines for these modded mufflers and everything. It was like end of 2021.
They increased the fine? Yeah, you know what? That's,
It's like $1,000 now, and I think they
oh, it could be.
Yeah, I think they required. I don't know if this applies to like county law enforcement or if it's just the state police, but they're required to have like decibel meters now.
I mean, we'll write the statute in the VTL. I don't know if the county has a separate one. You guys know? For allowed, we'll have to look. If the county has a code for that, we can maybe go that route instead, and maybe, the county does have some pretty stringent codes when it comes to these cars, and so we're able to impound them. So with the racing and that kind of stuff, when they're doing all the little tricks that they do, if we witness that, we can take the car. I don't know about the mufflers though. I'm not so sure if that's involved in it. It might be. We have to look at it.
Yeah, it's the same thing with the rolling coal that I told you about. The trucks that have bypass, and they blow black smoke.
Oh yeah, I know. It's unbelievable. Okay, so in the precinct, 2 fatal accidents last month, unfortunately. I always like to report there was none, but so Sunday on West Hills Road, the 5th, about 12:15 early in the morning, a pedestrian was walking on the shoulder of the road, and he was struck by a dark-colored vehicle that fled the scene. Nobody hung around. It was called in. We responded. I think they did CPR on this gentleman, our officers, but he did not survive. So Major Case takes that case. They do a whole workup on it. I believe I have a Crime Stoppers picture of a person they're looking for. It's the next slide, so just hold on to that one. And then last week I spoke about motorcycles. Last month I spoke about motorcycles. They're out now. It's nice weather. Please keep your eyes out. Everybody, you can't see a motorcycle like you can a vehicle coming, and a lot of people are distracted when they're driving, and listen, people like to ride motorcycles. It's fine. This poor gentleman was going down Jericho Turnpike in Comac, and somebody made a left turn in front of him. This is a common cause of motorcycle accidents. They don't see. Sometimes, okay, let's be honest, some of these guys drive way too fast on these motorcycles, but a lot of times if there's a multi-lane road and there's a car coming, they just see that car, and then this guy comes around. So this is what happened here, left in front, he hits the car, he's dead on the impact, probably going way too fast. So unfortunately, 2 fatal accidents this month. This was, yeah, this is the crime alert regarding that hit and run on West Hills Road. So they're looking for this individual. It's kind of hard to make it out. I don't know if anyone recognizes anything, but this is on our website too. If you go to our website, you probably get a clearer picture.
Yeah,
I just threw it on,
like he's
okay?
inside somewhere. Instead of
Yeah, I don't know, I know Major Case is working on it, so they must have had somehow tied the car to this gentleman, or maybe he saw who was driving that car. They're not really saying who this guy is.
They wanna talk to him.
Yeah, they would like to talk to him. Okay, arrests in the precinct in May. 21 felonies, 72 misdemeanors, 9 for assault. Gang-related, 3 gang members arrested, 8 total charges. 2 MS-13 gang members, the charges were weapons and warrants. And 1 Southside posse for a warrant. We had 9 drug-related arrests, 11 DWIs, for a total of about 120. Domestic incidents and overdoses. In May, we responded to 224 domestic incidences. 69 of them had criminal charges involved. Overdoses, there are 4. The good thing to report is that overdoses has been gradually going down, which is good. We didn't have any fatal overdoses. The ones that were non-fatal occurred in Huntington, Comac, and 2 in Dix Hills. And the shot spotter, okay? Explained about shot spotter. I hope everybody by now kind of understands what shot spotter is. You don't know what shot spotter is? Okay, so this company puts up sensors in a location in Huntington Station, and they pick up the sound of gunfire. All right, so they're stationed throughout a certain area of Huntington Station, and when something goes off that sounds like it could be gunfire, we get a notification over our computers, and then they send officers to investigate to see if there was actually any gunfire. They get some false positives sometimes, which could be a car backfiring, or I don't know what else, guy banging on something, whatever. Dumpster going down on the ground, who knows. But these were the activations we had in May. Depot Road, all of them were investigated by the responding officers. No gunfire. That's good. That's a good thing, yes, yes.
These are like it's not like you're chasing your tail with this system like it used to be.
No, there's less. You know, I was surprised to see this many early in May. I don't know, maybe fireworks are coming out. I don't know if that sets it. If they were supposed to get the senses a little better. I don't know, you know a little more. But anyway, we're getting a lot of them. One was actually reported as fireworks, so I'm sure we'll get some for this month and next month coming up. But there was no gunfire, which is a good thing. This was a crime alert that I had from last month. I just left it up because they're still out there. These people did the scam in the supermarket. They took a woman's wallet from her pocketbook on her shopping cart, and there's some pretty good pictures of them. So if anyone recognizes them, please call. There's a reward. Okay. Talked about pool safety again last month because everybody's opening up their pools, and we had, unfortunately, some incidents last month. So look at the tips, please. Try to supervise, have somebody watching, not just children, adults also. Everybody's summertime partying in the backyard, whatever. Sometimes someone has too much to drink, decides he wants to go swimming, and doesn't come up. So I put these up last month just to kind of get it out there, and unfortunately, I have to report that we had 2 drownings last month. So I do this in the summer because I told you that these incidents occur and that you really got to pay attention if you have a pool and whatnot. So just so you know, one was over here on West Hills Road, and that gentleman passed away, unfortunately. The other gentleman, there was one in East Northport. And these were all adults, okay, just so you know. The one guy was drinking pretty heavily, too. I think actually both of them were. You know, so he's still alive, but in very serious condition. So I don't know what the outcome's going to be. So just please keep an eye out. Yes?
Why did they, with the one in West Hills, why were they looking for information when they put it out on the news? They said anybody with any information.
I think there was a party going on there, and they were trying to figure, because I don't think the homeowner knew that this guy, they pulled him out of the pool, and I think they did CPR, but the homeowner was not around at the time. This house is like a really big complex, I heard. I don't know, we've been there before apparently. So I guess he had so much stuff going on in his backyard, he's got all kinds of different things. This one person went into the pool and there was no one else around, and then someone saw him.
Is this the mansion?
Yeah, yes.
They rent that place for parties.
Yeah, okay. I found out this after this happened, that we've responded to, in the past, to, you know, out of control parties and stuff there, so. Yes, go ahead, I'm sorry.
You mentioned on the other side about CPR
Yeah,
by, you know, certified trainers, you know.
yeah.
Our community is looking to have somebody come and do that and give CPR.
What's your
training.
community, ma'am?
The club at Melville.
Oh, okay.
Would be the best.
I don't know, can we do some with the PLAB through this? Can we like kinda,
Well,
You might be able to, but you know who might be able to do it
Yeah.
too? Angela from Melville Fire Department.
oh, Angela, okay.
I can have the EFT's academy staff, they do training.
They do? Okay.
Cool, yeah.
Please, see Alyssa after?
You just give me your name or.
Thank you. Ma'am, you had a question back in the back? In the green? No? I thought I saw you. Oh. No. Oh, okay. I thought I saw you raise your hand. So yeah, pool safety. Please practice pool safety. Again, all this, don't, you know, lock everything, and same thing every month. Gift cards, we went through this, check washing. This was another one I saw that I wanted to talk about. This Norton antivirus subscription.
One of many.
Yeah, oh, so you've gotten this? I don't know. This is the first I heard of this Norton.
McAfee, Norton.
There, so they send you a thing saying, thank you for your subscription to McAfee, Norton. This one was Norton, I don't know about it. And the person goes, oh, I didn't subscribe to Norton. And so the guy says, oh, we made a mistake. We'll refund you $470, right? And the guy, oh, that'd be great. And then they call back and say, oh, we made a mistake. We refunded $74 to your account. We need you to send us back like half the money or whatever it was. So, and this scam, this person sent back $24,000
In gift cards.
and was scammed. No, there was cash involved, and then they also called back and they said, oh, by the way, can you get some gift cards? And I'm like, I know I always say gift cards equal to scam, but like if you didn't sign up for anything, don't call the number like you see it on your screen. Look up Norton, I guess, direct to see if there's a number. I just threw this out there because everybody is like, hey, I got antivirus, it's great. And you know, then you're like, wow, I didn't even sign up for this. So I just want to get this out there. I know we've been through that for an hour already and it's getting late. So, but there it is. Coffee with a Cop coming up. Come on down, Wednesday, June 26th, 11:30 in the mall. We're right in the middle. Please come down. It's nice to talk to everybody. It's a little less formal than this, and whatever. If you got gripes, bring them on. We'll see what we can do. We'll see if we can help you.
Coffee and grapes.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wine with a Cop.
Yeah.
I'm not going to comment. You're going to get me in trouble. Let's see. Oh yeah, Six Harbors. I heard of that place. Yeah. It won't be an official event. Okay, safety in the sanctuary. This is Tuesday, June 11th, right here, 11 a.m. Okay, I had this sent out to a lot of the religious organizations in the precinct. I went through the anti-bias task force. I think it's Hannah, whatever it is. I don't know. It's another. So they got a lot of this. You probably got this, right? Through people. Alyssa's doing this. This is a great thing, especially right now with all the tension going on in the world. So this is good. Homeland Security is going to come down and talk about safety in these places, maybe having an active shooter, what to do if there's an active shooter. They'll assist with emergency operation plans. What else? Conduct a vulnerability assessment, and they do stop bleeding, a bleeding control. So this is really good. All faith leaders, anybody can come down to this, okay? It's not just faith leaders. We'd like to see as many people as possible. It's good. Yes, David.
Heard the presentation, they're very experienced, answer all questions,
Yeah.
very good.
Our Homeland Security Division, those guys, top notch. You know, I've been to a lot of active shooter drills. When I was in Marine, we did a couple in Fire Island, and that was real interesting, trying to get boats and cops over to Fire Island. So we learned a lot from that, and yeah, we made a lot of changes because of just doing those drills. So it was very interesting over there, and you know, especially now, like I said, all these religious institutions would like to, if you have people, please come down, and you know, you can pass this information along, or you know, get your rabbi or your pastor, whoever wants to come down. It'll be good. I think that's about it. Oh, Pride Parade. June 9th, coming up. Is that this Sunday? Yeah, this Sunday. Huntington Village, big parade, starts at 12, and then Heckscher Park. It's a nice little party down there. They got all kinds. I was there last year. It was very nice. There were no problems, thank God. We will be down there in force to make sure everybody is safe. So if you're coming down, rest assured that we're going to take care of everything down there, okay? Next meeting at the Precinct on July 2nd, 10 a.m.